Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome back to the Hive. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at these Mirabella Genio curtain pixel LED lights. We'll look around the box, we'll get them out of the box, we'll get them set up, and we'll talk about some of our thoughts. Spoiler alert for the end, save you money. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links in the video description to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your own smart home and support the channel at the same time. Or you can also support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link, also in the video description. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link are all available on my website as well, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So as part of the recent unplanned smart curtain light series, I ordered these Mirabella Genio smart curtain lights from Kmart Australia, that is, for 59 Australian dollars. And I got them shipped to my door because they're out of stock at a number of Kmart stores as well. They've been all over social media and praised by some as a must-have for your Christmas lighting setup. So we figured we'd see how they stack up compared to the other smart curtain lights that we've been reviewing recently. At this price point of 59 Australian dollars, you can bet there's going to be a noticeable difference both in the build quality and the functionality. That said, this is just a review of the Mirabella Genio Pixel LED curtain light. I'll be trying really hard not to compare them to the Twinkly or the Govee in this video, because we'll be doing a head-to-head comparison video in the new year. But there are some moments where it will be necessary to draw a comparison to the others. Now, with the Mirabella Genio, like other Mirabella Genio products, there's little in the way of prerequisites that we need. We need a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, though a dual band network will probably be just fine, and we're going to need the app. Now, with Mirabella Genio being Tuya based, I'm going to be using the Tuya Smart app in this video. Another option is the Smart Life app, also by Tuya. You can use the Mirabella Genio app itself. However, generally speaking, if your smart devices are Tuya based, I would avoid using the individual manufacturer's app, opting instead for either Smart Life or Tuya Smart. The manufacturer apps provide exactly the same feature set as far as I know. You also get the added benefit though when you use either Smart Life or Tuya Smart of these devices then becoming available to the Tuya Cloud API, meaning that they can then be used with Home Assistant, or we can then potentially use a custom component in Home Assistant like local Tuya to control them without needing the cloud connection at all. Now, as always, let's start with a quick look around the outside of the box. So the box is pretty basic. On the front here, we've got Mirabella Genio Smart Home Wi-Fi 240 pixel LED curtain light, color changing, select from 40 preset patterns or customize your own colors, works with Google and Amazon. Size is 1.5 meters high by 1.9 meters wide, LED RGB pixel, a QR code to scan to see them in action, sound sensitive, picture of the app, and a representation of the string. On the right hand side, just Mirabella Genio, and on the left hand side, the same thing there. So over onto the back, Wi-Fi pixel LED curtain lights installation. Some installation instructions here. Compatible with Amazon and Google to bring voice control to your Genio light. Requires iOS 9 or higher, Android 4.4 or higher, 802.11n 2.4 gigahertz. Dimmable with the Mirabella Genio app. The Mirabella Genio website here. Trademark information, some safety information, measurements. The power pack and controller are for indoor use. Lead cable for indoor or outdoor use. And it just reiterates that there. Logo on the top, nothing on the bottom. So with the outside of the box covered off, let's get them out of the box. We'll start on the top by flipping out this tab and then opening the top of the box. And straight away we see we've got the curtain just jammed inside the box. If I pull the curtain out, there's also some basic documentation in here with some safety info and some basic instructions. We'll take a closer look at the curtains now, and they've really spent zero effort to pack them in a nice way. The power adapter has a 5-volt rating and a 6-volt output marking, which is a little bit odd, and a max power rating of 10 watts. So we're looking at about 2 amps on 5 volts or 1.66 or 1 2/3 amps on 6 volts. The power adapter does come plugged into the curtain lights, but it is removable by unscrewing the connector. We can see we've got a 3-pin connector here, meaning we're pushing our control signal from the plug pack as well as the DC voltage. The power adapter also has a button on it to change modes, presumably. One thing that I do like here is that the curtain has the mounting hardware pre-installed, where the strings run off from the runner of the curtain. And like the Govee curtain, we're using Pearl LEDs on the curtain with a straight through configuration of the wiring. Overall, the build quality doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence. Everything just feels a little bit on the cheap side, but maybe I've been spoiled by the $200 LED curtains. So there's everything in the box. Let's get them set up. I have to say, because of the complete lack of any care for the packaging, this curtain was a bit of a pain to hang on the wall. It took way too long to untangle even the simplest single cable run from the main curtain back to the power adapter. One of the main reasons this was so tangled and so difficult to work with seems to be that the cables are quite rigid. It took about 15 minutes to sort everything out and get the strings to hang in a reasonable way, because I ended up having to go over each string individually to try and unkink them. The other thing I found quite bizarre is the width of this curtain being wider than it is tall. It just seems as if someone decided to build them in landscape instead of portrait mode. Now, so you don't have to, I counted 12 strings with 20 LEDs per string. When I powered the curtains on, we got a basic red scene and started the 2-year pairing process. Opening the 2-year smart app and waiting a moment, the Genio Pixel LED curtain lights popped up and we were able to just click add. After clicking add, we were asked for the Wi-Fi credentials and we were already connected on the phone to our HiveMind IoT. That's the 2.4 gigahertz only network we have here, and prompted for the password as well, which I'll blur out here for obvious reasons. After hitting next, the Genio Pixel LED curtain light ran through this being added screen, and after 20 seconds it said added successfully, and there was an opportunity here to change the name. Instead, we just hit done and it bounced us back out to the main page of the 2-year smart app, where we could see all of our 2-year devices. We tapped on the Genio Pixel LED curtain light, which was in the first position in the all devices page. After being treated to this cycle of appliance logos for a good 40 seconds, we finally got to the controls. The controls are really basic. In color mode, there's a paint bucket, a draw, and an erase option. Paint bucket, as you'd expect, changes the whole curtain to one color. We've got our color selector, a saturation selector, and a brightness selector. Like with the Govee, when changing the settings on these sliders, the action doesn't take effect until you lift off the control, which can make for a jarring and sudden transition as opposed to a smooth brightness or color change. If we click on dynamic mode here, we've got 3 dynamic settings. We've got shine, flashing, and breath. Once a dynamic scene is running though, to stop it from running, you have to go back to the color settings and change something. Speaking of going back to the color section of it in draw mode, while these are Mirabella Genio's pixel LEDs, they're not individually addressable, it seems. When you try to draw a pattern, it fills 2 rows of LEDs with the color that you've selected. And then the erase function does what you would expect and turns the rows off. Down the bottom of the app, we've got a palette which contains the 40 pre-programmed animations that we saw mentioned on the box. None of these animations are particularly exciting. Again, it's locked into these 2 rows of the same color, and the animations are not what I would call smooth. Entering music mode, it says that it makes use of the phone microphone, and it has 3 modes: music rhythm, gaming, and romantic. None of them were particularly impressive, and at first they were barely even responsive to sound at all. And the only discernible difference between the 3 different modes were the colors that it flashed when it detected sound. If we tap on the light bulb mode on the bottom, it takes us back to the default page. And then the last page at the bottom of the app offers scheduling with either countdown timers for on or off, or a full schedule like all other 2U devices have. Again, like all other 2U devices, in the top right-hand corner, we've got the settings icon, and inside here, we've got controls to hook them into either the Alexa or Google Home, or there's all the other usual settings in here, such as firmware updates, removing the device, and getting the device information as well. So that's the Mirabella Genio Smart Pixel LED curtains. In a future video, we may take a look at connecting these into Home Assistant. Now, Mirabella, if you're watching, I want you to brace yourselves, because this is not going to be pleasant. I'm completely disappointed, not just in the basic hardware, but the functionality of these lights. Knowing now that they are grouped in rows of 2 is a sign that they have either spliced the control wire at each T in the main line, and they may have also only put 1 LED controller per 2 LEDs in the string. So the controller is then only processing data for a single string of 10 LEDs, but then sharing that same signal across the 12 individual strings. Or, and I may actually try to hack them to see if I can figure out if this is the case, it may just be really, really bad software implementation, and the limitations could potentially be removed by using something like WLED. It could also be a combination of all of the above, though. At the very least, I'm hoping to find out that these have individual controllers per LED in each string. Even if they're then still sending the same control signal to each column, if they're at least all independent, we might be able to get something that looks at least a little bit more decent out of them. Now, I appreciate that these lights are cheap, costing less than 1/3 of the price of the Govee and almost 1/4 of the price of the Twinkly. But even if you're on a tight budget, but still wanted some kind of curtain light, I don't think I can in good conscience recommend these. I guess they might look okay wrapped around a column or a tree trunk, maybe for some really simple lighting effects with just that kind of cascading color down. So I guess if that's the kind of thing that you're going for, then by all means. In my opinion, though, you would be better off saving up for a little while longer and spending the $199 MSRP, or waiting until they go on sale to get the Govee curtain, which has more than twice as many LEDs, better build quality, better functionality, and a better app experience. The only positive thing that I can really say about these Mirabella Genio Pixel LED curtains is that the mounting hardware, which is almost identical to the mounting system on the Govee, is built right into the curtain. So there's no need to spend the time putting the mounting hardware on the curtain to get it up and mounted where you need it. That said, the mounting hardware looks and feels really cheap. While the curtain itself might be outdoor rated, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that the plastic the mounting hardware is made from doesn't do well under the harsh Australian summer sun. As always, let me know in the comment section your thoughts about the Mirabella Genio Pixel LED curtain lights. If I manage to get anywhere on the hardware hacking aspect, as always, I'll bring you all along for the ride. It's sure to be an interesting one. Now, this video is going to be the last video for 2023, so I do hope that you all have a happy and safe holiday season. I'll be enjoying a couple of weeks of quiet time, and I hope that you get to do the same. and we'll see you back here in 2024. That is all we have time for in this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your smart home journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with a home automation idea you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Instagram and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing now. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I release new videos, which is normally each week. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Any contribution you make through Buy Me a Coffee does get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.